New revelation Trump and his administration's claims about the Epstein files are raising fresh concerns that someone is lying. And surprisingly, this new information is coming from inside the administration, courtesy of Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick. Going off script, Lutnick is making new claims about how Jeffrey Epstein made his money.
This guy was the greatest blackmailer ever. Blackmailed people. That's how he had money.
That is literally the complete opposite of what Trump's DOJ claimed in their now infamous July memo, which said, quote, "There was also no credible evidence found that Epstein blackmailed prominent individuals as part of his actions," end quote. Now, this leaves you with more questions than answers. You're not alone. Lutnick also divulged more about his first meeting with Epstein. Listen to his firsthand account.
He gives me a tour in the living room, big living room. And then across from it is double doors. I assume it's the dining room.
Yeah.
And he opens the doors and there's a massage table in the middle of the room.
Ooh.
And candles all around and stuff. So I ask very insightful, cutting questions. I say to him, "Massage table in the middle of your house? How often do you have a massage?" And he says, "Every day." And then he gets weirdly close to me.
Ooh.
And he says, "And the right kind of massage."
Ooh.
Now my wife is standing here. So she looks at me and I look at her and we say, "I'm sorry, we have to go." That's what his MO was, get a massage, get a massage. And what happened in that massage room, I assume was on video.
And in that light, there are new questions about Epstein's 2008 sweetheart plea deal with then U.S. Attorney Alex Acosta, who later served as Trump's first-term labor secretary.
I assume way back when, they traded those videos in exchange for him getting that 18-month sentence. I mean, he's a serial sex offender. How could he get 18 months and be able to go to his office during the day and have visitors and stuff? It must have been a trade. I have no knowledge. But my assumption is there was a trade for the videos because there were people on those videos.
Well, that is a very big claim from a member of Trump's own cabinet. At the same time, others in the administration, including Trump himself, maintain that there's nothing to see here, even going so far as to call all of this a Democratic hoax. Well, now, Democrats are calling on Secretary Lutnick to testify before the House Oversight Committee. And all of this comes just weeks after Alex Acosta spoke to the House Oversight Committee behind closed doors. Democrats say that Acosta showed no remorse about striking that deal with Epstein. Indeed, one Democrat reported that Acosta, quote, "does not feel, even in hindsight, that Jeffrey Epstein received a sweetheart deal." So who's telling the truth here? All of these contradictions and suspicions are a great reason to release the Epstein files. But House Speaker Mike Johnson is balking. The Speaker is delaying swearing in a newly elected Arizona Democrat. Why the delay? Who knows? What we do know is that if seated, this new member of the House would be the final clinching vote to force the release of the Epstein files. And with the government shutdown, House Republicans are in no rush to vote on this.
Ever in the room with him, socially, for business, or for even philanthropy. If that guy was there, I wasn't going because he's gross.
Joining me now to discuss all of this is Asha Rangappa, former FBI special agent and senior lecturer at Yale University. And Andrew Weissman is back with us. Asha, obviously, not everyone in the Trump administration is singing from the same hymnal. What's your reaction to Cabinet Secretary Lutnick contradicting the DOJ on Epstein?
Well, politically, he clearly stepped in it, right? This whole idea that Epstein was blackmailing people and that's how he made his money, which may or may not be true, is definitely a MAGA conspiracy talking point. But here's the thing, Melissa, is the only way to verify whether that's true is to understand what was actually recovered from the Epstein residence. And, the FBI files would have logs of whatever they recovered and what those videos contained, et cetera, et cetera. And I think it highlights the red herring of the release of the grand jury testimony and how that really has nothing to do with what may potentially be in the FBI's possession.
So, Andrew, among some of the things that may be in the Epstein files is this question that Lutnick has surfaced that there was perhaps a trade with the tapes being exchanged for this sweetheart deal in the Southern District of Florida. First, would that even be possible as part of a prosecution? Is that kind of deal, like tapes for freedom, possible?
Well, it's possible. If you're asking, is it proper? Obviously, it's not proper. It is worth noting that that part is sort of what I'll call, speculation or an educated guess on his part. I'm actually more interested in as you put it, Melissa, the firsthand account, where you have somebody who has no problem displaying the massage table and then sort of talking with a sort of wink, wink, nod, nod, openly, though, to Mr. Lutnick, because that belies, for instance, Ghislaine Maxwell saying, oh, I never saw or heard anything untoward going on. The people who knew him well, which includes our current president, saying, oh, I don't know anything, where you have this sort of firsthand account from somebody who has no reason to be lying about it. I'm sure behind the scenes, people are talking to him saying, what in God's green earth made you give that interview? And so he's describing someone who's quite open about the lifestyle and is, to use his phrase, the sort of the grossness of it. And so it really belies all the people saying, I didn't know anything.
Asha, Andrew makes a good point. A lot of this is Lutnick speculating, and these are wild claims about which he is speculating, and many of them would require evidence to corroborate. Does this put more pressure on Congress to vote to release the files? And if so, what do we make of Speaker Johnson's reluctance to bring this to a vote?
I think it will definitely increase the pressure to release this. Again, this is someone from inside the tribe who's basically validating for the base that, something that they have been suspecting for a long time. So I think that this is going to be complicated for them. I don't know what to make of the reluctance to release these, Melissa. I mean, this is something, the promise to release these files was literally part of this whole campaign promise for this administration. So this about face is very odd. And on the Acosta point, one thing that I will say is that, nobody talks about this, but there is a 348-page Office of Professional Responsibility investigation into the sweetheart deal that Acosta made. One of the details that's in there, by the way, is that there was, a potential indictment that was moving apace, within the office until Acosta went and met with Epstein's lawyers. And then all of a sudden, the investigation was stalled and put on hold. So I've just been surprised that that piece of it hasn't been pushed on more. And I don't know if that is considered part of the Epstein files, but I would imagine that that would be something that would reveal a lot of information as well.